Yeah, I love my people. Word of mouth. Yo, my skin is my sin. We are born sinners, made from the soil in its likeness of the Lord's image.
Okay, why'd you call the new album Painted in Hunger?
Just because I haven't dropped any music in probably the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, not a project. Dropped singles, loose ones here and there. But when we created this project, we wanted to showcase our versatility. And so we were hungry in regards of creating the art, showcasing that we could just do more than just the grimy boom bap sound. We touched in like to be a little more soulful, even when it came to even when it came to subject matter. We wanted to touch on different topics, and I wanted to express me being more as a man, being a father, being a son, being a brother. So, this project like encompassed all of that. It's the art, you know what I mean? And we felt like we were hungry while creating it.
Okay, so how did you two get together and decide to do this project?
Uh, Sai.
Yeah, we had met. Uh, was it 2020, 2021, maybe?
Oh, yeah, maybe it was around the same. Yeah, maybe 2021, 2020, maybe we started emailing each other. I think you reached out to me, DM me, or it was
Hmm.
other, you know what I'm saying? I think it was about 2020, 2021 is when I think we met in person.
Yeah, yeah, somewhere around then. But yeah, I found his album. I think I was scrolling on YouTube or something one day, and I liked everything about it, man. I liked the presentation that he had. I liked the sound, and for me, it was cool because it was refreshing compared to the underground scene during that time. And I'm like, man, I got to meet this dude. So I hit him up, man, and it's one of them dudes that you just felt like you knew, the whole time. We got that type of relationship. So uh went out there, we cooked up. That was the beginning. I mean, but after that, man, it's just us just kind of progressively building, and it turned into this project. And this is just the beginning. We got a lot more stuff coming too.
Okay. Picture Perfect is kind of a different song.
Mhm.
Is that based on a real person in your life?
Wait, really quick. That I made that instrumental uh for a series that some people that follow me know me for. It's called the Kardashian Curse. It's a series that I did, and I based it off of pretty much old NBA players that went through the whole Kardashian curse. And if they wasn't messing with a Kardashian, then it's one of the you know how it is in the league. You get well established, and you get one of those succubus women to kind of take over. And I don't know why, but the vibe I had for that series was just like a beautiful uh like a beautiful woman like reeling you in. And that was one of the first ones I made for the series, so it just fits.
That one is kind of like less is more kind
Mhm.
of thing.
Yeah, very
It
true.
it's simple but not simple, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Absolutely.
So take me into the production of that one.
I mean, like I said, it was just more so of a feeling there. When I made it, I just wanted something smooth and easy for the ears. I didn't even hear anybody on it at first, like a lot of my instrumentals, but um, it being so stripped back, it did give room for BA to breathe and do what he wanted to on it.
Okay. B.A going back. Is that just creativity or is that a true story or what?
It was both. It
Ah,
it really wasn't a true story in regards that I was talking about anybody specific. It was like so Sypooda was sending me beats, sending me beats, sending me beats. I'm a very picky beat. I'm very picky when it comes to that. And I heard this beat, and I love soul samples. I love soulful music, right? R&B, that 60s, 70s era where you had like men with strong voices, where you felt the passion. And so, like, one of my favorite movies is Five Heartbeats because Eddie Kane, you feel me? So that caught me off the rip. And up until that point, I was doing the real grimy boom bap, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to, and a lot of, I've been doing music for a while. So a lot of my older fans was like, yo, like, you used to talk about the ladies. Why you don't talk about the ladies no more? So when I heard this, I was like, ooh, and I wasn't doing nothing that was like any loops or anything like that. Everything was hard drums. So I was like, ooh, I can get off on this. And I was talking to a young lady at the time, and she said something. One day we was laying up, and she was like, it's the first line in the song. She was like, if you bring me, what did I say? I said, if bring me
Bring me peace. Bring the love.
yeah, that's what she said. If you bring me peace, I'll give you love, bring you love. And I was like, I'm taking that. Like, I'm like, yeah, taking that. And from there, like literally, I kid you not, I wrote the whole song like this. Like once I got back to the crib and I played that beat back, it almost was like it wasn't even me writing it. The way the bars were just coming out left and right, like it was just coming out so fast. And I recorded it. And I remember my child's mother at the time, we were still very cool. Wasn't messing around at all, but we had a good relationship. She came by the house and she heard the joint. She like, yo, that shit fire. When you gonna drop that? Like, I'm excited about that joint. And I was like, yo, could you do a part on? So it's her voice on there that says, um, yes, King, or something like that, she says. And then that's how the song came together. And I laugh because what I mean, hopefully they don't hear this, but it's about like three girls that swear this song is about them. Like, like they bring it up all the time. Like, you know, so it's funny that you asked me that question.
Um, Sypooda, what is in your production workstation?
I have a machine is my main culprit. Then I got an Ableton Push. Uh, Other than that, just live things. I play a guitar. I'm at my mom's space right now, so it's a little tight. Then
Okay.
I got my acoustic, my bass. I was just having a session yesterday, so this is my baby, my Telecaster that's put up right now. I got my congas, my glockenspiel back here, my keys. So just a lot of like live stuff. And the mic. I like you people might not hear it, but I put a lot of background vocals on like tons of my instrumentals, you know. Yeah.
So you got the bass, you got the guitar. Uh, What's your musical background? Have you always played instruments?
I have always played instruments. I grew up the first one I played just to get out of class in like elementary school with my one of my best friends at the time was the violin. And I just did it just to do it. And that's where I learned to read music. I was playing in like little orchestra quartets and things like that. And that really influenced my ear, like what I listen to. Besides my family and growing up, being back and forth between Jersey and Virginia, but having a musical background, like just circled everything together.
Okay. Now you have a beat store.
Hmm.
How important is the beat store to your business versus collaborating with artists that you normally work with?
In terms of like monetary wise,
Monetarily and creatively.
oh, so monetarily, yeah, it's extremely important. It's one of my main sources of income, but creatively, it's good because it opens me up to tons of new artists. But with that being said, with the tons of new artists, you get the bad apples. So it's not always, you know, that you find that person you click with or music that you like. Uh, Honestly, the people that I meet that aren't from my store and things like that are the people that I usually like BA that we create, you know.
Okay. BA, you got a song on there called Real Right. And on the song you say you hate people in general. It it resonated with me because I feel that way sometimes. Why do you hate people in general?
uh, um, I don't know, man. I think so, a lot of people be like, they're not really genuine. They be having like evil intent. You know what I mean? And you know, if I like, I believe I'm sincere. You know,
Right.
whoever I'm dealing with, and it gets tiring trying to buffer people out to see who to deal with, who not to deal with. So you know, I like to be alone sometimes, you know what I mean, or be amongst the people that have, you know, I see that are sincere and you know what I mean? Like I don't really talk to a lot of people on the phone. If I'm gonna talk like if I talk to you on the phone, I fuck with you. You know what I mean? And that's probably like 4 people out of my whole, you know, contact list. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel him. I could be the same way. It's funny because I do consultations too. And people when they get in contact with me, they're like, bro, you like a ghost and a mystery. Cause it really be hard to kind of tap in with me sometimes because I've been through that same experience uh gaining traction within the music space and it's like everybody just wants you for something. And you know, that really annoys the hell out of me. Cause it's like
Mhm.
let's connect as people first and then we gonna build it's gonna come naturally. I don't like forcing anything.
Yeah.
Isn't that the nature of the beast though? Like people in music, looking for something, they're searching for something, they're trying to get somewhere.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, shit, bruh, if it's like that, just communicate that. You know, don't be funny with the energy all weird. And I'm like, what's this guy do? You know,
Right.
we all men, you know, just talk. So,
And
Right.
all
like,
that.
it be based off of like where you at now, like how much clout you got, what's your status today. You know what I'm saying? When I notice like when I'm active and I'm getting like blog placements and I'm dropping videos, everybody want to do songs together. Everybody want to hit me up. Everybody, yo, what's good, bro? All this. Let me get inactive and chill. I can hit somebody up, be like, yo, I got a song I want to get you on. Oh, feature price. Or or I'm a little busy right now. I gotta get with you a little later. Then I drop, yo, bro, when you in town, hit me. It's like, all right, I get it. You know what I mean? And that's what makes me like, I don't really, I do this because I know it's part of the game. You know what I mean, but like, I have to like charge myself up to go out and network and do all that because I don't really put the fake smile in it. I don't want to fake kick it. If I fuck with you, I fuck with you. If I don't, hey, it is what it is.
Okay. Born Sinner is probably the most important song on the album. Um, you have a line on there where you say they how they how the hell they exile us in our own land. And it made me think of Palestinian people,
Mm,
the Native Americans,
mm.
Asians, and of course Africans. Um, what's your opinion on recently the Dutch or the Afrikaners, the Dutch people in Africa, uh, being granted asylum in America for allegedly being discriminated against in South Africa?
If you don't know your history, it will repeat itself, right? And I immediately thought of the whites, the French that escaped off Haiti and came over to the Americas. That's who I thought of when I seen that. I'm like, wow, it's happening all over again. You know what I mean? They're playing the victims, you know what I mean, of something that they created. And it's not like one thing that bothers me about this conversation about race, I'm going to talk about my people, our people, is that you can't show me a time in the history where we was like, yo, we about to make y'all slaves. We about to oppress y'all. All we wanted was just an even playing field, justice, and to leave us alone. We ain't asked for nothing other than that. Now they sit there and talk about the fear that they have since the time slavery was abolished. Even before that, they've written books about the anger of the black man, the black race, and getting revenge and wanting to make them slaves and all this other stuff. And through all the violence, all the terrorist attacks, all the evil, you know, um, systems that was put in place, we still just all we want is just peace. We just want to be left alone. And when I look at them, the Afrikaners, that's the most funniest word I can think of, right? When I look at that whole situation, I love to see it. I love to see it. I love it. It put a big smile on my face. I feel emotional about it because I've been following Ibrahim. I've been following that whole thing, and how eloquently he speaks. He really reminds me of Malcolm
Mm.
in a sense of his intelligence, how he can say so much and so little. You know what I mean? He's very like witty, low key, you know what I mean? But he's very direct and he's serious. And I get it, I feel the sincere from him. From all the way over there to here, I feel the same sincerity I felt from Dr. Khalid Muhammad when I came across him and listened to his speeches. I was like, oh, I could hear the love that he has for his people, the passion. And so, when I seen that, I had a big smile on my face. Yeah.
It's, you know what, man? How backwards is it that we're talking about Dutch people, in Africa, and they're the victims? Why are you there?
Right.
Let's go back to that. Should you have been there in the first place? These Europeans have colonized the world, man, and then turn around and point the finger at the people they colonize. It's the most amazing thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sick.
It's beyond sick.
Sick.
They want to kick Latinos out. How much of the West Coast was Mexico? California, New Mexico, Nevada.
Texas, Arizona.
I mean, what are we doing here? It's it's amazing to me. And like I said, you see it in what they call Israel. These people are here. You bumped them out. Now you mad because they fight back. Like, well, you know what their problem is? They never stop fighting. We as black people wanted to assimilate. If we ever, I don't know how it would have looked if we ever would have united and fought back. I, I don't
You
know
know,
what that would look like.
our biggest problem is, and I believe I've heard Malcolm may have said it. I forget which brother said it, but it said that we thought they had a conscience. You know what I'm saying? We really thought that. So we thought that if we could simulate, if you could actually see that, no, I'm not violent. No, I'm intelligent. No, I love my family like you do. That you would then see me as human. But no, they knew who you were before you knew who you were.
Mm.
They know exactly who you are. And I think that's the biggest problem is that they say slavery. What we need to say is prisoners of war. It's, it, we need to change our vocabulary so we can start waking our minds up. You know what I mean? Because it's like what Malcolm said, like when Malcolm was like, "Yo, this is not a civil war that we're. It's not about civil rights. It's about human rights." See how that changes? That changes the dichotomy of the whole thing. And so we need to stop saying slavery. We need to say prisoners of war. We need to start waking ourselves up and realize that we not only we've been attacked and we're being attacked daily, all the time. You know what I'm saying? We need to realize that the war never stopped and that we need to wake up and we need to figure it out. We need to stop worrying about our differences and start worrying about what we do have in common. We need to start mobilizing. We need to. It's so much that we like. I give us a lot of credit from where we came from because we can't throw all that in the garbage. You know what I'm saying? But what kills me is when something happens. Let's say tomorrow a young lady gets killed, black lady, or a young brother gets killed, and I hear people say, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is still happening in 2025." And then I say, "Well, when did it ever stop happening? Since the time you were conceived, this has been your reality. So you've been really walking around here blinded by this idea of inclusion. It's never been that way. It's been the same. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. I remember talking to my grandmother. My grandma was 90 something years old. She passed away in 2021. And we would have conversations about race in America. And it wasn't like hers was far off from mine's. We were literally talking about the same exact thing from the time she was born to the time I was born. And that's wild. You know what I'm saying? That's why I created that song.
Man, the amazing thing is the climate we live in now, this fear of darker people, it's always been there.
Always.
But like you said, it's we're not trying to hurt you. Black people in America have always just wanted a piece of the pie, a seat at the table. There's no nothing to worry about. The fear more than us is brown people. It's Latinos. Why do you fear them? Because yeah, they're gonna outnumber you, but you still run everything. I don't really
Now,
understand. You think that'll change?
that's what they fear.
I know they fear it, but
You know
I
what
cannot.
I mean? I mean, if you put just um, okay, all right. So I even give them a name instead of calling them oppressors. Call them conquerors, right? You conquer something, and you want to keep your foot on their neck. You never forget the first moment you step foot on their land to conquer them. You never forget the mission. Because the moment you get lackadaisical, the moment you start being like this with everybody, the moment that they have the opportunity to dethrone you. Mm-hmm. They've been doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I'm at with it. Like I gave this analogy the other day to my niece. I said, imagine this. Imagine an antelope running around the savannah, chilling, doing his thing, and all of a sudden a lion jumps up, grabs it by his neck, rip his neck out. The other antelope run off. They get by the water hole and they go, "Oh my God. I can't believe these lions are still out here hunting us in 2025. See how funny that sounds? That's how we sound. The lion knows what he's there to do. They know what they're there to do. We need to accept that and figure out what we need to do. Because that's all it's about. It's about power and control. Now the people that's in control, they can monitor peace and equality and justice, but you got to be in control to do that. And I mean, come on, man. You look at Ibrahim over there in Burkina Faso, take over the gold mines. You think those French and them other people gonna stop making their money? You think you shut down somebody track spot, they making $10,000 a day, 70,000, $100,000 a week, and you go over there and you say, you know what, y'all can't do this no more in my neighborhood. We not going for it no more. We gonna take over these spots. You think the dope dealer, the cartel that was running those spots, you think they're gonna be like, all right, I'm cool with taking $100,000 a week loss. I'm cool with that. I'm gonna let y'all go. No.
Well, that's the fear that he won't be around long. They're gonna find a way.
They're trying to kill him. They don't try like 25 times.
Yeah.
But what I love about bro, he know what's up. He know war's coming. That's why he stay in his general suit. He ain't getting comfortable. He knows what's up. And he's steady trying to unify with other African nations. He's creating relationships with Russia. Now, we can roll our eyes, but he understands this is war. And you need allies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going against the superpowers of the world. And I know some people say your enemy is my enemy. That makes us friends. Okay. Well, we both don't like them. All right. Putin comes to him, shake his hand. All right, I ain't trying to get in your pockets, but if something happens to y'all, I got our back. But if something happens to us, we need you and your friends that y'all getting together to have our back. America, Britain, everybody else is looking and they're afraid of that. Because the biggest fear is not just what they can do over there in Africa. The biggest fear is the fire that ignites amongst all of us around the diaspora and says, I want to fight with my brothers. That's the problem. Yeah, y'all got them in Africa, but then now all of a sudden, now we have all these, if these blacks, if these steppers, if these YNs get become a revolutionary mind, now all these neighborhoods and ghettos become sleeper cells right here on this territory. Now I don't know what's going on because before you had Malcolm, you had the Panthers, you had all this, you had what was going on over there in Africa, but there was no connection. There was no connection. Malcolm was trying to do it, you know what I'm saying, before he was assassinated, but there was no connection. Now we seeing, now there could be. Now, at the time when Malcolm was walking around, he's talking Pan-Africanism. We hear Ibrahim, he's talking Pan-Africanism. That means he sees you as his brother. So if he gets some power, get enough power, because they're thinking 10 years ahead. Damn, he got all this gold. He done made over a couple $1 billion this fast. What if he decides to say, I want revenge for my brothers? Damn. Can we fight up against this? Africa is the biggest continent on this planet. Over 100, so many countries over there in Africa. We don't look at Africa as a continent. We think Africa is like America. United States of America. That's how we look at Africa. No, Africa big as fuck.
Right. And they try to make it smaller. They try to make it appear to be smaller.
It's big as fuck.
Yeah.
And everywhere you go, through the Caribbean, St. Martin, St. Thomas, Jamaica, Hades, everywhere you go,
Brazil,
Mm.
Dominican Republic.
Colombia,
Yeah.
Brazil, Panama. We can keep going over and over. You see you. You see, I was just in Jamaica for 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
So all I seen was me.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere I walked, everywhere I went.
Mm-hmm. We're everywhere. And
Listen, when I was in staying over in Mexico for a little bit, I had like a real profound conversation with the old woman, and it was crazy because she just looked at me and she told me, she said, "You know, we all come from you." And I was like, "What you trying to tell me?" And she was like, "You are the first person here. You know, you are the creator of all this as a black man." And I said, "You really are telling me that?" She's like, "Yeah, it's like it's obvious. You know, we all are indigenous, and just don't forget who you are." And I said, "Damn."
That's why I said the line.
In Mexico at that.
That's why I said blue, black, Indian, red. We the same man. You get what I'm saying? We the same man. You feel me? But that makes you believe that we talking about two different people.
that's a powerful message that you got. And I think if more, I mean, that's just science. Like they'll, you take a science class. Yeah. Civilization. First woman, first man started in Africa. That's just what it is. Everything else sprung out from us.
Well, I didn't like. I'm a little younger, but in school, that wasn't a thing for us. And
Oh no, not in like public school. I mean like college level.
yeah, they started to get into it.
Yeah,
But I think that's just a shame, man.
it's
You know what
it,
I'm saying? That you making it seem like my history started from slaves.
slavery.
My
No.
best invention was a goddamn peanut.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. It's
Crazy.
slavery, peanut, Martin Luther King.
But
Crazy.
but what do you expect your oppressor to teach you?
Right. It's smart when you think about it.
Yeah,
You know, that's why I tell people, I tell my friends, I tell my peers, I used to get on Facebook. I'm like, yo, you need to teach your daughters and sons about who our heroes is. You sit up there and you let them tell you who Martin Luther King was. When the last book you read about Martin Luther King? How many speeches you listened to from Martin Luther King? Y'all always talk about I Have a Dream. He got a whole bunch more speeches.
Mm.
And if you listen to King, King was talking some shit.
he was. Yeah, especially near the end.
Oh man,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah,
whoa, very.
revolutionary, and that's why That's why they did what they did.
And they, don't get me started, man.
That's fine. Yeah, yeah, we gotta wrap it up. We gotta wrap it up. We can go on forever, but I love this conversation. Okay, last question. What do you guys want people to take away from Painted in Hunger?
I want people to. I don't want to be looked at as just no rapper. I'm an artist. I'm not in this pigeonhole boxes, just boom bap. I'ma just rap over grimy beats and no drums and all that. You know, no. I make music. I'm a creator and it's reflective of who I am as a human being. You know what I mean? That's why I touched on betrayal. I touched on love. I touched on family dinner, which was about family, about falling in love. Um, and then Born Sinner. Like Born Sinner had to complete the project because I needed to give I needed that song. I needed that song to be in the project. My whole thing is like as I got older, would come to rapping, I would always want to put the candy in the medicine. And Painter and Hunger was that project to give to the people to let them know like um there's more that comes with me. You know what I mean? And Sypooda did great as a producer. He's grown way more over time of us putting this project together. But he gave me different pockets to be able to write and create those songs and things of that nature.
And I agree. It's still, I guess you could say it's still competition that's going on with any musical release because it's going to be compared to something. And what I wanted to take from this project is that, or what I want other people to understand is that it's more than just what you're hearing right now. You know, we can give you this refreshing sound, and something that you can connect with on a deeper level. You know, it has layers to me from the production and the lyrics. So I just want people to just enjoy the refreshing sound of the so-called underground. You know, what we bring in.
Dope. All right. B.A Badd Sypooda, thank you for joining the realhiphop.com.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother.
You're welcome. Peace.
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 Yo, she told me bring the peace, she bring the love. No, she felt that buzz when she received a hug. Strapped her for protection, reperceived with lust. We a team, I let her ride down. Would not be reeing up. One day she told me as we was lying down, she believed in us.
I believe in us, King.
Word, shit. Keep real, baby, I believe in us too.